Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am going to talk to my brothers and sisters in this episode on a question that comes up a lot for us Muslims living in the West. Sometimes we are asked that question for the first time when we go into college. My students leave high school and enter into college, and now there's a completely different conversation taking place, and they are asked this question, and surprisingly, the answer is incredibly elusive. And it's one of the simplest questions. Either through their looks or through their names or through conversation, it comes up that they're a Muslim. In the workplace, at college, and very often the question is asked, why are you a Muslim? And today, inshallah, I'm going to attempt to help my brothers and sisters, especially the younger ones, to think about the answer. I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm going to, inshallah, help you to walk towards finding that answer. So when I realized this issue, I started asking my students, why are you a Muslim? Well, I have two types of Muslims, students. I have my Muslim students that I teach mainly online. I used to teach one-to-one, but this is 2020. If you're watching this 50 years from now, in 2020, we had the coronavirus and everything got shut down and we are not meeting face-to-face. So all my students are online students. And for the youngsters, most of my online students are born Muslims. And I ask them the question, why are you a Muslim? As part of my teaching. And the number one answer I get is because my parents are Muslims. The second type of Muslims that I teach are my brothers inside of the prison where I work as a chaplain. And for the vast majority, out of 200 Muslims in my facility, there's like 2 or 3 who are born Muslims. Everybody else is a convert. And I ask them, why are you a Muslim? And there the answer is far more interesting. Why they became Muslim in prison is a beautiful topic, and we will talk about it. But I want to help my born Muslims to think about truly why they are Muslims. And just because my parents are is not a sufficient answer. So I decided to do what I'm doing to them to myself. And I asked myself, why am I a Muslim? And my thought process went something like this. I believe that this universe and all that is in it, including us humans, and in particularly me, I cannot be the result of an accident. I cannot be the result of a chance. Because some people say all of this happened by chance. All of this was a random accident. One of the things I did in my life is that I studied applied mathematics. So using simple statistics, I completely and utterly reject the concept of this universe existing as a random accident, that this human being, this unbelievable body that works so wonderfully, that is a marvel of all marvels, cannot be the result of an accident. Why is that? Well, let's look at statistics, probabilities. Everybody knows what a dice is. That's what you play sheshbesh with, where we Arabs are famous for that, okay? Turks, Iranians, we love to play that game, right? A dice has 6 faces, and it's numbered from 1 to 6. And you know that if you throw 1 dice, the odds of you getting a 6 is 1 in 6. If you have two dice and you throw that two dice together, the odds of you getting two sixes, not as some people say 1 in 12, it's 1 in 36. It's 6 times 6. If I give you 3, the odds now will climb into the hundreds of getting all dice to come up 6, 6, 6. And it doesn't take long. It only takes 8 dice. 8 dice. If I give you 8 dice and I say, throw them, what are the odds of you getting all sixes? It's 1,806,000 blah, 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 blah. I can't remember the exact number. Only takes 8 dice for the probabilities to go from 1 in 6 to 1 to 1.8 million to 1. So, when I speak to the people who say this universe, this entire creation, life itself started by an accident, there was this magical moment when everything was lined up, everything was correct, the right chemicals in the right swamp, in the right temperature, with the correct amount of power that came down from a lighting, this, that, and the other, and bingo, by magic, a cell was created, a life was created. I am not going to argue with these people and say that that was an impossibility. I am actually going to agree with them. I'm going to say, I'll give you that. That possibility, as remote as it is, 1 in gazillion, gazillion, gazillion to 1, did happen. That's not where the problem is. The problem is that that one single cell that was created by this incredible chance is going to die within a few seconds. What it takes for it to stay alive is going to require yet another 1 in gazillion, gazillion chance to happen. And for it to survive long enough and for it to mutate in the perfect way so it somehow discovers how to replicate itself is yet 1 in a billion, 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 billion chance. And every time you add the chances to each other, they exponentially become impossible. So it isn't the fact that the very first incident, something happened by chance. Every step of the way in creation had to have bigger and bigger and bigger number of chances for it to succeed. And all it would have taken is one of those gazillion chances for something to go wrong, and that one cell that was created by this great accident dies off, and then we're back to square zero again. So to tell me that this human body that I reside in, with its beautiful circulation, with its beautiful organs, with everything works exactly as designed, for it to have existed the way it is, the number of perfect accidents, one after the other, after the other, after the other, billions and billions and billions and billions of them, every single one of them happening perfectly, perfect accident after perfect accident after perfect accident, is impossible. The example given is a typewriter and a monkey. Okay? Put a typewriter and a monkey, and have this monkey endlessly for millions of years just hitting the keys on it. Okay? I will grant you, he will probably spell 1 correct word, 2 correct words, 3 correct words. He might even get a whole sentence correct by accident. But what are the chances of him writing a Shakespearean play, Romeo and Juliet, from the first word to the last word, every single word in between, every sentence, every full stop, every space bar, hitting it correctly in one go? Every letter he hits, I can actually calculate the permutations of that happening. And there is no calculator, there is no computer who can actually print out the number of how impossible that chances are. And remember, if this monkey somehow managed to get, into scene number 2, have done hundreds of thousands of words correctly, then he makes one mistake, then we're going to go back to the beginning and start all over again. The answer is no random monkey hitting the keyboard of a computer will ever type, no matter how many billions of years you give him, because there is not enough billions of years of chance for him to write Romeo and Juliet from beginning to an end by pure chance. Not possible. So I refuse the concept of we are an accident. If we're not an accident, there has to be something that caused this to happen. I am a 100% believer in the Big Bang Theory. I say the universe, time, and space has been created through the Big Bang. I have no doubt about it. 100%. And I'll tell you why. Not because it's a science theory. It's a science theory means that it could be right, it could be wrong. There may be another theory that will come in the future and say otherwise. I believe in it for a very simple reason. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَالسَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كَانَتَا رَتْقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the universe, the heavens and the earth used to be a ratq. And if you look up the word in Arabic, it's a solid, condensed, very small matter. Singularity. The heavens and the earth used to be a singularity. فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. Fatq in Arabic is to rip something apart, to blow it up, to rip it apart. And then he says, and then we rip them apart. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells me that this is how the universe started. So, I believe in science. I believe that the universe created through the Big Bang. But here's where my Islam comes in. I believe that it was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who banged the bang. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who commanded that singularity to explode. It didn't do it out of itself. It was done because there was a doer. And the doer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, my science tells me that this had to have an originator. So now I have moved from not accepting a chance to accept that there is a creator. But I'm still a long way of explaining why I am a Muslim. So let's take the next few steps to see if I can get to there. And hopefully do it before I bore my brothers and sisters. If there's a creator and he created me and he gave me the ability to think, it only stands to reason. It is only logical that he wanted something from me. And if he wanted something from me, it's only logical that he will tell me what he wants from me. He created me, therefore he must communicate with me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicate with us through several ways. That's after I believe in him. But before I believe in him, I have to believe that he will communicate with me. So how does he communicate with us? Well, throughout history, this creator have sent messengers, men and others who will tell their community about their creator. And if I come to you and I say to you, my brothers and sisters, I, Imam Sami, I am a messenger from God, the first words that will come out of your mouth is, you're a liar, and you're right, I will be a liar. But there were messengers who came, true messengers who came. And they told their people, we are messengers to you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And their people reacted the way you would have reacted if I said it. And said, we don't believe you. You're a liar, you're not telling the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then have to give these messengers of His some sort of a sign to prove to their people that they are telling the truth. And those signs throughout history have been miraculous acts, acts that the people of the time could not produce. With Noah, it was the most spectacular of all miracles. The entire known earth flooded. Okay, talk about going big, right? And the miracles that came through were always big miracles. And they started to get smaller and smaller and smaller as humanity grew up. Then we get the miracles of Moses. May God be pleased with him. My God, did Moses have miracles? One after the other after the other. Just before he left Egypt with the children of Israel, he had 9 miracles. And then when they leave Egypt, the first thing they do, he splits the sea. Miracles, massive, huge. Then all the miracles that they had while they were lost in the desert for 40 years. And then the miracles get smaller. And we get the miracles of Jesus Christ. May God be pleased with him. By now, humanity has grown up. And the miracles are more scientific, more medical in their nature. He'll cure the blind. He'll cure the leopard. He will create small little clay birds and blow in them and says by the power of God, and they fly like real birds. So that spectacular, blockbuster miracles are now getting smaller and smaller. But I witnessed none of them. I'm a skeptic. You come and tell me Moses split the sea. My answer to you is, remember, I haven't yet accepted Islam yet. I'm working my way there. I'll say to you, prove it. Show it to me. Show me evidence of Moses splitting the sea. I'm a skeptic. I don't see it. You say to me, Jesus Christ, may God be pleased with him, son of Mary. He walked on water. Say, show me. Prove it. There is no proof. Why? Because all of these miracles that happened before the last one were what I refer to as a matchstick miracle. Okay, I have a match. I light it, everybody around me sees, miracle, this thing has a little fire, and then the fire goes out and the whole thing turns into ashes. And now the people who are there will go tell the people who are not there, Imam Sami lit a fire on a stick. And the people will say, okay, we'll take your word for it. A few generations later say, it's a myth. We did not see that thing light up. You tell us it did, we don't see it. So for me to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a message, because remember, I am the most skeptical of people. I need a miracle I can see now. I want a miracle that I can see with my own eyes. I want to feel it. I want to touch it, because nothing else is good enough for me. And that's exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did with his last message, with his last messenger. He sent Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and to the annoyance of a lot of my brothers and sisters who feel like Muslims have been shortchanged when it came to miracles. Moses had all these spectacular miracles, and this, and Jesus Christ, may God be pleased with him, had all these miracles. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we say about his miracle, the Qur'an, as if it is a small thing. I say to my brothers and sisters, it's befitting that the Prophet ﷺ did not have any other miracles. And whatever people say that he had that was miraculous, I am ready to dismiss. Because what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him was the miracle of all miracles. Not only it is miraculous when it was revealed, that miracle is miraculous every single day of the human's life on this earth until the day of judgment. Now that is a miracle. So how come the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's miracle is so continuous? And that miracle, as we said, is the Qur'an itself. And we said at the very early episodes, there are two types of things in the Qur'an. There are the ahkam, there are the do's and the don'ts, the path that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. But also there are these gems. These are these treasures. And many of them are hidden treasures. And these hidden treasures only surface and show up when we humans become intelligent enough, educated enough, scientifically minded enough to understand them. And I just gave you one a few minutes ago when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us how He created the heavens and the earth. And only a few years ago we start to say, oh, this whole thing was condensed and it blew up. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell us other things about this thing that He blew up, this fabulous universe that we are living in. And He says, not only did I blow it up, but it's continuously expanding. As we put these spectacular telescopes up in the heavens, that they start to see the edge of the universe and they see that the universe is continuously expanding. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leaves those gems in the Qur'an and He says, وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ, and we will continuously expand it. And then I'm an old man. When I was at the public schools in Kuwait, in elementary school and middle school, they taught us that the universe is void, is vacant. There's nothing in it. There is nothing between the earth and the moon. They called it faragh, emptiness. Well, I lived long enough to see science coming up and say, hold on a minute, we're calculating the weight of things and the universe cannot be empty. There is a matter, there is a physical matter that is everywhere in the universe. But this matter is incredible. This matter does not react to light. It's a dark matter. You shine a light to it, it does not reflect it. A human eye can never see it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leaves these gems in the Qur'an and He says that the heavens are kept from collapsing on themselves بِعَمَدٍ لَن تَرَوْنَهَا. I keep them up by pillars that your eyes will never see. They are unseeable. They are dark matter. I needed a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delivered 1,400 and something years ago, 441 years ago, to a man who could not read and write, that when I read it today, opens up the miraculous nature of that book. The miracle of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to be a scientific miracle. And it had to be a miracle that is continuously giving. That every time you look at it, you see something miraculous in it. And when the generation that comes after us, they will see something miraculous in it. And the beauty of it is, it's written in such an amazing way that what we do not see as a miracle today does not offend our ears. And then when we discover through science that these things are true, our minds are blown up. Because now we discover that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hidden that information in plain sight inside of the Qur'an. Surah Al-Buruj, if my memory serves me right. I'm wrong, it's not in Buruj. Surah Al-Takwir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالْخُنَّسِ الْجَوَارِ الْكُنَّسِ. 4 words. People who did tafsir of the Quran for generations came up with the simplest of explanation. فَلَا أُقْسِمُ, although it comes in the negation, I will not swear. In Arabic language, it means I will certainly swear. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by anything He wants, by all His creation. But we humans, we only swear by Him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran swears by all kinds of miraculous things in His creation. So now He is swearing by Al-Khunnas. Al-Khunnas, the commentators of the Qur'an have said is the stars when the lights go off. So how did they explain it for 1,400 years? They explained it as the stars at the daytime when their lights go out. Well, you and I know stars' lights never go out, except we stop seeing them because of the light of the sun. So truly, when does a star's light go off? A star's light go off when they die. And we know how the stars die. They start to run out of fuel, then they will collapse on themselves, and then they will explode into a supernova. And every now and then, we did not understand how, we still don't quite understand how, some supernovae will actually turn into black holes. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I will swear by the stars that the lights go out. Al-Jawari al-Kunnas. Kanasa in Arabic means to sweep, that sweeps everything around it. We use that word in modern Arabic today. Okay, we call the broom, the sweeper, we call it muknisa, okay, the one that does all the sweeping. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I will swear by the stars that the lights go out, that are orbiting and sucking everything around them. Only in the last 20 years or so, due to the new telescopes that we managed to put up in the heavens, we now realize that one star dying by itself does not become a black hole. You need more than one in an approximate cosmic time dying in the proximity of each other for that to become a black hole. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the plural in here. And then He says they are in orbit. It's been no more than few years ago that finally scientists have discovered that actually black holes are actually in orbit. They're not stationary as they thought before. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us they're orbiting, they are jawari, they are running around. Al-Kunnas, that sucks everything around them. Muhammad, the Bedouin, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who couldn't read and write, had all of this compiled in this Qur'an. That had to be something that was delivered to him by the creator of the heavens and the earth. And therefore, if that creator told him to tell me to believe in him, to worship him alone, to pray for him, to fast Ramadan, to pay my zakah, and to perform my hajj, I am 100% obedient to that. Because that could not have come from anyone but the one who created the norms and the laws of this universe. The only one who knows how these things work fully and completely is the one who created them. And that is why the message of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to be a true message. And that's why the God who delivered that message to him had to be the true God. And that miracle that was written in the lifetime of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and collected within 1 year of his death and memorized by hundreds of millions of people, and it's printed in identical copy into billions of identical books, had to be from the one who made the Big Bang, who created the first life, who put this thing called ruh, the soul, into the things to make them who they are. And that is why, my brothers and sisters, I am a Muslim. I'm a Muslim because I have no choice but to be, because the evidence of the Creator are irrefutable. Because the truthfulness of the message of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is irrefutable. The Qur'an is between all of our hands. And we can all look at it, and we can all touch it, and we can all read it. And that is why, my brothers and sisters, I am a Muslim. Because the message of the Prophet ﷺ is proven every single day to be a truthful message, because I have no choice but to accept the scientific reality of what a marvelous miracle our Qur'an is. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our work. My dear brothers and sisters, if you do like these lectures, these episodes, please subscribe to the channel and share them with your brothers and sisters. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.